once
We
you...
are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome. We are live. I'm Gary Palmer Jr. .eth, hanging out here at Bama.eth. We are minting coins, and welcome to class.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm just getting this shared across some of my socials. I'm going to share this, and we'll be ready to rock.
Yep, gotta do the basics. You have to do the basics.
Okay, so yeah, let me know once you share the live video. What's up, Doggy Wish? I see him in the blue space.
All right, should I make you a co-host?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Got a co-host invite sent out to you. Connection was lost. Okay. Oh.
Everything working?
I think everything's working. I think we are
Did the
live.
red space go?
Yeah, the red space went first, and that's pinned. It's pinned in the room.
All right, let me see this. I don't know where it's at. I don't see the red space.
Are you in the Twitter space?
Yeah.
It's pinned in the Twitter space.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Also my feed.
This is my first day. Man, we've got so much stuff connected, and it's like simulcasting across all these different...
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, let's see. There we go. There. All right. Get this, and I'll be good to go. Let's see. All right, delete this. All right, yeah, I'm good to go. I'm set up. Yeah, no, I was talking about, no, it's just crazy. It's kind of, well, it's interlaps with the show too. We talk a lot of like Web3, but AI, yeah, I was telling you, Gary, that, man, it's crazy watching the AI agent like handle stuff autonomously. You know what I mean? Like, so I've essentially got the dealership from not affecting anything like in-house operations, but from a digital footprint, anything digital that interacts with the dealership whatsoever is all handled autonomously now. So like everything there, like anyone that interacts from a digital standpoint, whether it be social media or website, tech, so it's all handled autonomously. And it's crazy on the back end watching it all come together and learn and advance. You know what I mean? So it's actually accounted for several more advanced, created a autonomous call center, because you got to think one of these AI agents can handle, this is what I was telling a friend, one AI agent can handle 1,000 conversations simultaneously. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things, if they make an error as the language model's learning, you can program it and it won't never make that error. You know what I mean? That's what's fascinating to me. It's like it takes out human error. You know what I mean? Because like if you aren't very retentive and you tell someone something and they just don't retain it and apply it and fix it like immediately, then it's like it's the same mistake over and over. But it's crazy seeing once you make a change like that with the autonomy, how it never, you know what I mean? It's just, it's like smarter and smarter and advanced and advanced. So super interesting, man. It's accounted to like a lot of sales this week. So that's fascinating. I was playing with that earlier, like in the downtime before we had this show, but there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. And I was going to pick your brain on some stuff tonight. I ran across some stuff. It's going to be fascinating to you. I'm going to hit you out of left field with it too. So you'll know what I'm talking about, like when I bring it up later. But yeah, it's been a minute since our last show, so it's good to be back on here.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah. Well, there's always a lot to talk about. Crypto, AI, all of the internet, all of technology, the way all the pieces are fitting in together. There's always a lot to cover. There's always a lot changing. There's always a lot of questions. There's always new people with, beginner questions. There's always advanced people with, beginner questions. And, I love chatting it up. So, uh, thanks everyone for showing up. Thanks everyone for being here. Feel free to share the space, like, comment, subscribe, share, secret chat rooms. It's good. Let's get the fans in the room. Let's get the haters in the room. Lord
Symbol,
knows,
you're screwed.
Lord knows we have them all.
Hey, yeah, look, listen, maybe hopefully Careless comes in or someone comes into the blue space and comes up and kicks it with us. That was interesting. I hated it was the end of the day the other day. It'd be pretty cool to get someone up and have them interact because it's crazy how you can hear through all the where we're streaming. You know what I mean? So kind of a question Careless has, and just to answer someone moving forward, if anyone does pop up in our blue Twitter space, it doesn't it doesn't show you, it doesn't you know what I mean, all you can hear is like the audio, so you can see me and him on the stream, but we can only hear, and the other listeners can only hear the audio of the X user that comes up on stage. So that's good to know.
Wait, what are you trying to say? So in the blue space,
So yeah, like Careless asked me if like we could see him, you know what I'm saying, like whenever he came up in the blue space, like
we can see him in the blue
yeah,
space.
no, so we could just hear the audio. So that's good to know for anyone that's interested in coming up.
Yeah, the blue space audio should go through the live stream of everywhere that we live stream to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, everything sounds like it's coming. Man, it wasn't so bad getting all this set up. The first time was kind of my microphone. It was my microphone, right? It was the whole issue. Now I got this little microphone. There's no echo. I was giving out free echo POAPs. No, I'm just kidding. But I still got that POAP from when we was in Vegas. That remember when we met, me, you, Ron, and all of us. That was a fun trip.
That'd be crazy if you didn't have the POAPs though.
Yeah, when was that?
I burned it.
What was that? The Domainer Expo or something? Yeah, it was during that and Bitcoin conference. That's some good times, man. But no, hey, all right. So I was going to ask you.
I appreciated meeting everybody that I met.
Let me ask you this. I seen this the other day, and I want to pick your brain on this. And this may have been news. I actually think this is news that's been out for a minute, and I haven't kept up with this Swift. You're familiar with Swift, right?
I'm very familiar with Swift. What's the new news?
All right, so I don't know the most. I know that they've been tied to anytime you heard XRP, you heard Swift. Do you know what I mean? And all that, the XRP believers. But so I have never really kept up much with Swift. So it sounds like you know. So this is good because I don't know the most in regards to them. But it says they are building on Linea. They partnered with Linea. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah. So listen, Gary.
And it to the Twitter space.
Pin it. Well, no. So listen, I just all right. So I've got. So listen, I went down a rabbit hole, and I'm going to pull this up. So, do you know how sometimes when you talk to AI is like your biggest cheerleader? Like it'll have you so pumped up, thinking you're down the right path. Like it's like, yeah, you're going to make it. And like, yeah, you're doing exactly right. But no, you may not even be doing right. You know what I mean? But the like language models, like,
wow, man, this is huge. Swift,
okay, so you see it now.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
so listen, I don't, and maybe this is for the fellow .eth like community, because I just seen this, and so here's what I ask X, right? No, I think this may have been Copilot Pro. All right, so I went down a rabbit hole with it because I didn't know. So you know what Swift is. I didn't know what Swift was much. So I was like talking to AI, like explain this, make this all make sense. And it gave me the most bullish answer ever. So my conversation was, is Swift building on Linea Build? And it was like, short answer, yes, Swift is building on new blockchain, blah, blah, blah. So I went down a rabbit hole of asking these questions, and man, you would not believe some of the bullish answers it gave me for ENS and just like Ethereum overall. It gave me like, listen, when I tell you I was like super bullish by the time I was done interacting and learning, I could go through some of the things. But I guess for users, what is Swift? It's like our current centralized financial structure, right? Is that essentially what it is? It's like settlement or messaging? It's messaging, right?
I mean, yeah. I mean, roughly speaking, without me googling it or anything, Swift is like the global banking settlement layer that every U.S. dollar sort of that every bank uses to pass dollars through. And so it's Swift network it's like trillions. It's like hundreds of trillions of dollars of settlement, transaction money globally, bank to bank globally. So yeah, that's. I mean, I'd have to do update my research and whatnot, but I mean, banking wise, what is it like 100% of all
Yeah, no,
goes through Swift or
yeah, it was huge. It was like a huge percentage, and it was telling me like I'll read off some of the things right here. It was saying. So I asked, obviously, is Swift building on Linea build? And it was like short answer, yes. Swift is building its new blockchain-based shared ledger on Linea. Consensus is zk EVM layer 2 on Ethereum. This was confirmed publicly by Consensus CEO Joe Lubin. So it's like what the sources say, official announcement. So why Linea? But like it was super interesting. This is one of the most significant TradFi Ethereum moves ever. Swift handles 150 trillion in payments annually, and if their settlement layer moves onto Linea, Ethereum becomes the backbone of global finance, not hypothetically, but operationally. So this is where I'll kind of tell you, I got started getting super bullish. So it was like, if you want, I can break down what this means for ENS layer 2 ecosystems, or how this positions Linea versus base, blah, blah, blah. So
this looks like sort of old news in a sense that it came out a couple months ago, but some
yeah,
people
no, that's what I came up with too. But I don't know how I didn't hear this. So I had questions like to this, but so I don't. This must have slipped past me going back to our. There's so much news that comes on a daily basis. You know what I mean? I do not remember this. I just discovered this like a day or so ago, and went down a total rabbit hole with it, like just researching. So I didn't. Did it skip past you also?
maybe I heard about it. I mean, there's so much news and there's so much happening, and for me, I need to be careful because I sort of get caught up thinking that this is all a sure thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, right. Me too.
just because I'm hooked into the tech so much. And so, when you see Swift and you see this announcement with the 30 different banks, including J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, HSBC, Citi, Wells Fargo, et cetera, et cetera. J.P. Morgan Chase has the Onyx slash Connexus layer 2 blockchain that they're working on internally, as well as like all these folks working on stable coins. So they're already building on top of Ethereum, right? And so the new information here is that they're building in partnership with Consensus, and that they're using Linea technology. But each of these banks, including Swift, is already working with Ethereum before this, but now they're doing more. Now they're getting in deeper. Now they're playing with more layer twos, more tech, and this bodes great for Consensus, for Linea, and for the entire EVM ecosystem.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. So like I asked it, you was talking about don't want it to be a for sure thing. So listen to this rabbit hole I went down. So I obviously was like, I said yes, break down primarily what this means for ENS. So here's the real breakdown grounded in the confirmed reporting. All right, so it said what Swift building on Linea means for ENS. ENS becomes a human readable layer for global finance. Two, I ain't going to go through all like the subcategories, but two, Linea's architecture is ENS friendly by design. Three, banks will need ENS subnames for internal plus external routing. Four, ENS as the identity layer for tokenized assets. Five is compliance plus KYC layers will anchor to ENS. 6, ENS becomes the bridge between TradFi and DeFi, and then went into the big picture, which was like ENS is no longer just username. It's the DNS of global finance, the identity layer for tokenized assets, the routing layer for institutional payments, the metadata layer for compliance, and the interoperability layer between banks and DeFi. Like it was super bullish. And then I went further down to asking it stuff, you know what I mean? But like each of those little subcategories painted out, and it's like, wow, that's huge. You know what I mean? That is freaking huge for ENS. You know what I mean? For like, that's what I'm thinking, like selfishly for ENS, it seems huge. With everybody anchoring straight into Linea, which brings an interesting point. Name chain. So that's about the time that name chain pivoted to that other layer two from Linea. You see what I'm saying? So that's interesting. I thought that was super interesting what that could mean, or if it was something conflicting, you know what I mean, that made them choose to switch. But I thought that was super interesting that Swift has chosen to build on Linea, but Name Chain has chosen to go with a different layer two rather than, you know what I mean? It's just super interesting. And I'm sure there may be an easy reason, but that was the first thing that I thought about, you know what I mean? Whenever I read that news and was reading through that and trying to decode everything, I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe pop in a Grok or whatever you use and ask them real quick, why ENS Labs, pivoted that for ENS V2 from Linea to what are they using now?
I don't know the name of the layer two. I can't think of it. It was something different.
It's one of the ZK.
Yeah, I think it's a ZK rollup, but I don't know.
Well, if you want to like AI that real quick, let's see if we can get a technical reason, because there are technical trade-offs between the different layer twos. There are technical trade-offs between the different technologies. The way they the process in which they settle information on chain. So some of the layer twos settle information immediately, versus other layer twos may take 30 minutes for information to settle. So if you're registering an ENS name, for example, in our case, you don't want to have to wait 30 minutes after you pay $5 for an ENS name. You don't want to have to wait 30 minutes for that name to settle. You want to have immediate access to that name. And so I know that was one of the important aspects for ENS Labs in the ENS DAO, that there was that sort of like immediate final resolution. And so, that can always be, as an example, one of the reasons why you would pick one chain over another chain. Feel free to jump in after you research.
Well, it was Nethermind Surge. I just had never heard of them. Not that's a bad thing. I'm sure there's some technical reason. And these two things are not related in any way. It's just where my brain fired. You know what I mean? When I was reading all this about Swift, and because I was like, man, that's huge. You know what I mean? That's like crazy huge, and for ENS, in my opinion. And then that's just where my mind like gradually floated off to. It's like, I wonder why name change switched from Linea to. But I mean, back to the Linea. Well, I'm doing expert research on that question. Actually, I'm curious what Grok says, summarizing it now. All right, so here's what it says, Gary. Namechain, the layer 2 network developed by ENS Labs for the Ethereum name service, initially partnered with Linea in December of 24 to build a ZK rollup solution. However, on November 17th, ENS announced it would instead deploy Namechain using Nethermind Surge, a based rollup framework built on the Taiko stack. The switch was driven by rapid advancements in based rollup technology and Ethereum scaling roadmap over the past year, which exceeded expectations and made a more decentralized architecture viable from day one. ENS Labs had always prioritized based sequencing, where layer 1 proposers handle sequencing, and native rollups, as they better align with the core decentralization values like fast finality, Ethereum's native settlement, and censorship resistance. Linea was originally selected for its ability to enable a quick ZK rollup launch based on the technical landscape at the time. with a long-term plan to migrate to a based model later. But Nethermind's introduction of Surge at ETHCC Cannies, however you say that. I'm sure my country has to say it wrong. ETHCC Cannies in
It's just
2025.
it's just Canes.
Canes changed this, offering a production-ready based rollup template that allowed ENS to skip progressive decentralization steps at launch directly as a stage one rollup with a clear path to stage two. Then it says additional factors, but y'all don't want to hear me read. I'm sure from a technical standpoint, you can base what that says. But yeah, so that's good. That's good to know. That it's crazy how you can just pop something in like that and get an answer. You know what I mean? It's like not that it's right, but like it sounds logical.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can then use our brains to validate the information that it said. But I heard that it wanted to go to base sequencing, it wanted to go to fast sequencing, it wanted to go to on-chain validation. Those were like two of the four things that I heard you say. So so we can validate those reasons, right? Like security on chain. I like how that sounds. Fast sequencing, so we get immediate access to an ENS name, right? You don't want to have to wait 30 minutes to get access to an ENS name. Can you imagine going to GoDaddy and having to wait 30 minutes?
To register a name?
Yeah.
Oh man, no, that'd be brutal.
That'd be brutal, right? I mean, I can sort of imagine a world where we had to wait 30 minutes, but yeah, obviously that's horrible. You don't, and so the second point when you said fast sequencing, that's so that the names have the sort of the immediate finality.
Yeah, that's interesting. You still like even you say 30 minutes, and I just look back to like DNS. Man, it's crazy how big the industry, like the naming industry is, like say DNS and how clunky it has been before Web3. You know what I mean? Like moving around on some of those and like transferring assets and stuff. Do you know how much more streamlined like tokenization is going to make? You know what I mean? Some of this, and I'm sure for like DNSers, I'm sure they're freaking ecstatic. It's like the whole system's getting like massive upgrade. You know what I mean? In terms of just like tokenizing and moving assets around.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of layer twos out there in the world.
Yeah.
More layer twos every day. It's, we're competing with layer twos. We've been competing with layer twos. I mean, actually thinking about it, because again, I've been talking about this for a long time and, since 2017. And so in 2017 and in 2018, maybe we were talking about, I suppose we were talking about layer one wars, like in 2020, maybe before 2017. It was like the layer one wars. And honestly, back then it was pretty clear it was Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum was still really, really new. I mean, Bitcoin is really, really new. And Bitcoin has had two major inflation bugs that, could have ruined it. But fortunately, one of those Bitcoin inflation bugs, they rolled back to blockchain, the Bitcoin blockchain. And then the other inflation bug they caught before it got really bad by a Bitcoin Cash developer. And Ethereum had its, hack, and they had to roll back to Ethereum blockchain. So both blockchains had to get rolled back, and both blockchains were really at risk. But it was really, layer one was sort of, we knew what the layer ones were, and then there were all these other layer ones that tried competing. But because they were competing from a centralized point of view, they were doomed to fail because they weren't prioritizing what was important technologically to build a long-term network effect. Anyway, 2017, 2018, and beyond, what was happening back then is that the layer two technology, we talk about layer twos now, but really back then, the layer two technology was who's going to win the layer two sort of architecture. And so that you fast forward, and nowadays we have, what we call Arbitrum.
Mm-hmm.
We have ZK, zero knowledge proof, blockchain technology.
I think ZK proofs are going to be huge. I don't have the most technical understanding of those, but I think they're going to be huge going into seeing some of Vitalik's posts and just like greater community chatter around it.
And then third one we have is optimism. And so those are the three major layer 2 techs that, like when we were talking about the layer 2 wars, like pre 2020, like those are the three that have now sort of advanced. And so now when you hear like, what was it, Nethermind?
Yeah, it was called Nethermind. Man, let's see. I had to find it.
So,
Nethermind Surge Layer 2.
so Nethermind Surge and Linnea, I think both of those then are then using the ZK rollup tech,
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Man, I'm ready for Namechain to launch. I'm ready for just more clarification into Namechain. I know, like, regardless, I've got to. I know there's a lot of stuff coming out with like your names, losing your names on expiry, but I'm fixing to solve that. I've got to go before the end of this month and renew a bunch of my names to try to get my name in these drawings. Remember we went over this last week and the week before the renewal. When you renew, there's a chance for rewards going on right now using referral links, and I've got to do that. I'm going to renew all of my stuff out. I actually renewed one of my 3 characters today, 151. Man, it stings so bad, Gary, registering renewing these 3 characters. Oh, it sucks, but you got to do it. You know what I mean? It's part of it. But I'm going to push everything out, man, so that I'm comfortably seeing my next move with Namechain once it's announced. I would just like to have some news. I wish there was something on like an expectation on a quarter. You know what I mean? A quarter of when it will launch next year or the next.
Yeah, you're not going to get that because then it's going to, it's easier to hold, people accountable and, like that sort of information you would have internally on a team. But there's so much changing. They're not going to release information. I mean, I wouldn't release information until I knew for sure, I was able to release information. And
yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, just imagine, you know what I mean? It's, if you're designing a car, you don't want anything to leak before it's ready. You need to put the whole machine together, before you start, letting people know when the tour dates are, what the specs are going to be, or things of that nature.
When do you think we'll get some news on that, man? That I mean, surely they've been working on it. I mean, it's been over a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's been there has been a little bit of news that they've released. So it's not as if there's been nothing that they've released. They have
Right.
said some things. But we,
Not that I'm pressing them. Not that I'm
well,
rushing them.
well, I mean, what year is it? I forget.
25.
So all of 25 has been them researching and working on Namechain,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because basically this was proposed and brought up in 24, if memory serves. The second half of last year. And so now we're looking into 2026. Honestly, I do think it's going to be 2026. It's possible it's not 2026.
That'll be good. 2026, even if it's into 2027, I'll be, this all Ethereum, if anything, let's just call it Ethereum. Look, primarily ENS has taught me, like, I'm so glad I came into this with patience. You know what I mean? So, like, I'm cool. I would like to see it in 26, 27. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm just glad I didn't come into this thinking I was going to do register a name, flip it in 3 months for 1,000x. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that I'm like, hey, this could take a decade or 2. You know what I mean? I'm prepared.
Right season, you definitely could.
Oh yeah, yeah, but that's that, yeah, that specific time frame. You know what I mean? But not the. I'm glad I stepped back and looked at the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Which I'm sure we all have our own motives or like financial. But I'm just glad I came in and was like, all right, let's just accumulate and chill. You know what I mean? That's what.
Yeah, I mean, the markets come in like waves, and it's at some point, you take the wave. At some point, things grow big enough where you just get excited, or you go in, the waves come in, the waves come out, the excitement comes in, the excitement comes out. Sometimes there's a lot of excitement, and then it all washes away. All right. And so this does happen with Bitcoin. This does happen with ENS. The hype gets real big, and the hype goes away, and then maybe the hype comes back quick, and people buy back in, and the number goes up, and that makes everybody excited. But sometimes the number goes down, and it stays down for a long time.
And the number never comes back.
Well, at that point, one of two things happens. Either it's a shit project, and the number never comes back, or it's something like Bitcoin or Ethereum or ENS, in my opinion. And the longer that it takes, and the more people that flush out, and the more unbelievers there are, the more selling there is, and the more not caring there is into whatever the technology is, as the people are buying it up, as the people are building it up, and then things happen, right? And then Swift adopts a blockchain, and then Swift tokenizes money, and then banks tokenize mortgages, and then everything gets tokenized, and everything is happening on an EVM layer 2. And then ENS is ERC 137, and and we have all these other ERCs that are all connected, where ENS is the human readable labeling of such. And then one day it just blows up, right? And so, it's like Bitcoin went from, whatever, like $100 to over $1,000, and then it crashed to, under $1,000, and it crashed under $1,000 for like a long time. It was for like 2013 to 2017. It was like, oh yeah, 4 years. I mean, it's not a long. Is that a long time in crypto? It's sort of a long time. I mean, people that bought in 2013 when Mt. Gox got hacked and the price crashed. Having to wait 4 years, 5 years, and then Bitcoin only went up to 10 grand, which was unfreaking believable at the time. Absolutely unfreaking believable. It was unfreaking believable that it re-hit $1,000, and then 3,000, and then
then 10,000, then 100. So I started.
No, 10,000, and then it crashed. 10,000, then it crashed. But still, the point is like, the longer, like, if it's a real tech that people are really using, the longer it goes, where the price is like going down, where buyers aren't buying, but the builders are building.
Mm-hmm.
That's creating, kindling wood that creates a huge technological potential, a huge market potential, a huge difference in value between what the price of something is and what the utility is, right? Mm-hmm. And the utility is based on the builders. The utility is based on, the buyers of the non-fungible asset. And people don't see it because it's not liquid, right? So it's like the internet. People are buying domain names, and people don't get it. But at the same time, people are, developing websites and building with new programming languages and making new websites do new cool things. And then all of a sudden it creates all this other, explosion of mind share and builder potential and market potential, and other people are building things, and it creates this demand for internet technology, this demand for domain names, this demand for marketing. And so, that's what's happening here, right? It's like everyone's focused on, what do we call them? Prediction markets. And
it's been a huge thing the past few months.
And they're great. Prediction markets are great. I could talk for hours about how prediction markets are cool and what's going on with those. But
that just seems like gambling to me, though. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I guess it's no different than making a calculated decision of buying a coin. You know what I mean? You're making a calculation.
No, it's for most people, it's 100% gambling.
And they're just like, I like red.
Yeah.
500 on red.
I mean, I mean, the difference between gambling and this is like a tangent, but the difference between gambling and prediction markets is is that gambling, if the casino wins, you have to lose. You can't. Then if you lose, the casino wins.
Mm-hmm.
That's gambling.
So prediction: Tommy can win and Larry can lose.
Right. In the prediction markets, it's every winner is paired against the loser.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a marketplace of ideas of people, going into like essentially a shared contract. But there's a lot of and there's a lot to talk about prediction markets, and that's why people are talking about prediction markets. But again, prediction markets are sexy, and there's a lot to talk about. But there's a
What's
lot.
onboarding?
There's a lot. I mean, is it? I mean, again, a little bit of a tangent. A lot we could talk about because it's also
Open the can of worms.
Some people are getting wrecked, but
yeah, I could see that.
But there's a lot of other things that are happening that are not sexy, like layer twos.
Mm-hmm.
Like layer twos are not super sexy, and it's all boring tech. And like why, like what layer two is name chain using? Why are they using it? What's the difference between what are the similarities and differences between Linea and whatever the new one is?
It's Nethermind Surge. I swear it sounds like Chronicles of Narnia or something. That's what I think of when I hear that.
Yeah, it reminds me of this B horror movie back in the 80s or something. But anyway, the point is like it's not sexy about this tech, and and Swift is totally not sexy. Like I've worked in the financial industry, so I think it's cool. When I hear Swift or when I hear, what's happening with like Shift 4 or Visa or MasterCard, all of this is for me really, really cool. But for average people and even most people, banks aren't sexy. Swift isn't sexy. None of it's cool. None of it is like super, super interesting. And so and what is it besides a headline, right? It's like there's a headline. All it is a headline. Swift and 30 banks are working with Linea. What does that mean to the average person? I mean, it's like, oh, okay, so Swift is working on blockchain. Swift was already working.
They don't care,
right? And how many years we got to hear that Swift is working on blockchain? Like we can go Google right now how many patents that Swift has, broken up by year in blockchain. I mean, Swift probably has like scores and scores of patents, if not over, like 100 patents in blockchain technology. And it's not exciting because it's a death by teardrop, right? These are just teardrop after teardrop after teardrop, and it's like nobody's dying from this water torture of all these teardrops. But eventually, the water drop is going to break bone, right? Eventually, all this information, all of this building, all these like single headlines are then going to like really come together, right? And banks and corporations are really going to be using stable coins, and banks and corporations are really going to be issuing NFTs, and banks and corporations are really going to be relying on smart contracts and shifting to a decentralized trust model, because the decentralized trust model will be not only more secure, but it's actually going to be such degrees of magnitude cheaper. It almost doesn't matter that it's more secure, because it's just as long as it was just as secure.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is going to proliferate in just ways that we can't imagine, right? You know how they talk about AI and they say you can't imagine what AI is going to be like.
Oh man, I can. Listen.
Let's say most people can't. The same thing is going to be true with the blockchain technology, right? It's like people really have no idea how this is going to be incorporated in our entire world as like the printing of money around the world continue, because that's the core issue. The core issue is a lack of trust in society and institutional organizations. And the reason there's this lack of trust in society and institutional organizations is because of corruption. And the reason there's corruption is because of infinite money printing. And Bitcoin and digital currency is solving that issue. So that's led to Bitcoin for digital gold, which has then led to Ethereum for the decentralized internet, which has then led to everything else. You have Aave, you have Chainlink, you have ENS, and these are just different jigsaw puzzle pieces, right? Like TCP/IP is a jigsaw puzzle piece. SSL is a puzzle piece. HTTP, right, protocol for your browser is a puzzle piece. SMTP for your email is a puzzle piece. Well, so is BTC is a puzzle piece, and ETH is a puzzle piece, and Aave is a puzzle piece, and Link is a puzzle piece, and CCIP is also a puzzle piece, right?
But
All
don't
these
you?
are puzzle pieces that are it's not really making a new internet. It's evolving the internet that we have into like a bigger, stronger, smarter internet.
Yeah, but don't you think like it seems like, so going back to these headlines of like Swift is building on this, Swift's doing this, let's say, and exactly Chainlink, CCIP, all these parts are being moved around, but it seems like for like, let's just say, I'm going to say an ENS holder, let's just say .eth or ENS token, whichever the case may be, that it's a couple of instances away from potentially like critical mass. You know what I mean? Like it's like all these like how fast everything can move, like with these S curves and whatnot. How fast everything could move if Swift did something and announced being that just seems like the most deep infrastructure for our banking system. You know what I mean? And if they said something along the lines of, "Hey, we're going to start, let's just call it the ENS with DNS and XX whatever using subdomains for bank," you know what I mean? Some policy, some protocol. It just seems like, man, something like that could send and solidify. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It feels like, yeah, there's so much stuff, but still nothing's really happening. But it could all come together so quickly. You know what I mean? It's almost like the pieces have started moving, and like they could just morph together. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just interesting. It's exciting times, man. Especially from having faith in what you've researched in the past several years ago, maybe 7 years ago. You know what I mean? And to see it when you had nothing but a belief based on news and articles you read, and to see it now, you know what I mean? All these fragments, let's just call them fragments. It's crazy. It's like so many fragments flying around that it's like seeing them all come together is crazy. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I've never with anything felt like got this feeling. You know what I mean? Like being that early and ahead of, but still have the patience to see it all coming to you exactly as you predicted. Does that make sense? I know it does for you because you was even earlier than I with like ENS when it first came, when it first launched.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely makes sense. And I think like the biggest learning for me is that it takes time to uh, have enough information to then have a hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
Then it takes time to have the patience to look for the signs of the hypothesis coming true. And then if it doesn't come true, then it's like, did you waste, all that time? And then you got to find a new hypothesis. And if you're impatient, or if you don't have if you haven't learned to build that patience yet, and not just patience to do nothing, but constructive patience, right? The ability to both wait and use that time in a constructive way, while you're waiting,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Um, and so, with this, I just built up a lot of information about Web 2, and then, I built up a lot of information about crypto, and then, and then when ENS came around, there were a lot of other naming systems and services that came before it, but when ENS came around, I don't know. I mean, of course, a little of it is the right place, the right time, but
Mm-hmm.
I really believed uh, in all the core principles, and I really believed in the team, and I really believed in all the people in the community, and some of the aspects and artifacts that I didn't agree with at first. I was able to think about, not that I was able to really change things, but I was able to think about it, and I was able to change my own mind, right? Like, or not change my mind, but I did change my mind. I came to a different conclusion based on the information from what I originally thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, when I first started in the digital identity space, I thought that the ENS name should be like NFTs, where once you own them, you own them forever. I was basically
Like Unstoppable's doing.
like unstoppable. Like unstoppable is I did have that original thought and that original feeling, that original mentality. And then, you know, thinking about it and feeling into it, what I realized is that if somebody owns a property, right, there's only one, Palmer.eth, for example. There's only
Right.
one Palmer.eth. And so if I have the keys, with the NFTs in my wallet, and I lose my wallet key, or if something happens to me, then that name is lost forever in my wallet, and that name can never be released back into the world. Then there's never going to be a true substitute for that name. So it's like Rose One dot ETH, or I guess dot crypto. Rose One dot crypto will never smell as sweet as Rose dot crypto. And the unstoppable dot crypto names can get lost forever, versus the ENS dot ETH names. Those can get recirculated. And so when you think about 100% of the potential names that are available, uh, over time, more and more of the dot crypto names are going to go off the market literally forever, versus versus ENS names, where even if someone registers a name for like 500 years, 100% of the names will eventually come back into a market.
Mm-hmm.
You think about, oh, we are building a system for the long term, and so there's a reasonable system in place that says like who owns a name and who doesn't own a name. So right now, like technically DNS has a 10-year where you can like register a name for 10 years, but there are services, it's not really talked about a lot, but there are services where you can register your name for 100 years, through like essentially a third party company, which or directly through a registrar.
With DNS domains.
Yeah, like a DNS domain. Um, and so you just think, okay, there's this company, they say they're going to be around for 100 years, and you pay them the money, and if you're gone, that name
They're
is just.
gone. They're gone.
I mean, technically, it's like you and your family and your heirs have a claim to that name for as long as you registered that name for.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on like the quality of that name and how the internet proliferated over the next another 100 years, say you did that 20 years ago, right? You still have another 80 years on this name, whatever this name is. And so something like that is reasonable, versus a name that's going to be lost forever. Yeah, and so so I changed my mind as far as that goes. And the team was really strong, and Brantley has that great story about how ENS had like those rocky days, and there's the potential of like fragmentation in the digital identity space, which would have been like creating two blockchains or two Ethereums, more or less, in my eyes. And so things were really precarious for a time. And for all we know, things are still precarious, right? And again, we can't assume anything. We got to like do the work, and we have to, care about the system, and we need to, be here for the right reasons, because on average, democracies will kill themselves, right? If true democracy of like freedom in a DAO, the average of the DAO is going to vote for extracting what the DAO has. So you just see that in politics, and you see that in culture. That the mob is the middle, and it's not the majority of the people who really understand how something works. And so the short term thinking very often isn't good for the system long term, right? Sort of by definition.
But you know what's crazy with these assets is the programmability of them. You know what I mean? There's use cases of these names that we don't even know yet. You know what I mean? That's what's crazy. Like as opposed to DNS, and which now obviously I know you can import your DNS domain, but like the whole time, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole time, if I would have had Keith.com, for instance, the only purpose of that domain, the only thing I could do with that name from the mid to late 90s up until ENS integrated was to translate a human readable name to a machine readable IP, right? There was nothing else. Correct?
No. I mean, the number one thing you would have done before you made a website would have been to use it as a like a vanity email address.
Okay, so use like Keith.com, for instance, as email.
Yeah, I mean, I would use like, I mean, if I own Gary.com, I would be Gary at Gary.com.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I could see that, but probably the masses weren't doing that. It was just for like technical function to map human readable and machine readable, right?
No, because like, I mean, there was like Rocket Mail, for example. And so Rocket Mail, you can go to like Rocket Mail and you can like,
God, that's old. That's old.
it's really old, man. It's really old. But yeah, so I forget exactly what the domains were, but you could go to Rocket Mail and you could be like, okay, I want to be Gary Palmer dot, Rocket Mail, or I want to be Gary Palmer dot like cool puppies, or I want to be Gary Palmer dot, tech guy. You know what I mean? They had the system, right, with the vanity emails, and you pick your name and you could pick and so you could do the vanity thing. So basically that was like subdomains. It really was. That was like doing
At the end, that OG subdomain.
I mean ENS subdomain potential was basically vanity email addresses in the 90s.
Past.
Yeah.
The only difference is you don't hear your dial-up connecting now.
Yeah, your email loads more than one line at a time.
But you know what I'm saying though? ENS, there's like the programmability, and let's just call it the interface of where you can set all this stuff on your names. Who knows where it could be 10 years from now? You know what I mean? Like who knows what it could evolve into? That's what's fascinating to me. I'm with you though.
You're talking about the potential. I mean,
yeah,
100%. You're talking about the potential because, yeah, I mean, if we yes, we don't know. So just saying some crazy stuff. If everyone has an AI in the future, a digital AI, a physical AI, and that digital and or physical AI that you have is at all connected to the blockchain. Like if it ever makes a transaction on the blockchain, if it ever sends or receives anything,
like BankerBot,
not even like, okay, so we're talking about essentially the exponential growth, right? The multiple S curves that lead to this hockey stick curve of growth.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a headline about Swift, doing something with Ethereum. We get a headline about Swift working with Linea. We get a headline about Swift that has a blockchain patent. We get a headline about Swift, doing tokenization of stable coins. We get a headline about Swift, like, creating their own stable coin. It's like boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, every bank in the world has a tokenized stable coin, which is transacting with every other stable coin like through the blockchain, through Swift, you know, through the Federal Reserve Bank, and because of that, every grocery store in the world, right, every Publix and every Walmart is allowing you to buy your groceries with stable coins. Like right there, that's mind blowing.
No, I agree.
Because right there, that means you're using blockchain technology, you're using smart contracts, you're using 0x addresses. And so all of that can be connected to ENS names. But then you think, wow, well, I can have like a personal AI assistant, right? Like I can have like a super Siri. And then I could also have an AI bot that walks around my house. If that bot wants to connect to the Ethereum blockchain and purchase something, my bot has a wallet, and I give my bot like, $100. So yeah, it's like I don't think we see the massive potential of every grocery store in the world being on the blockchain, every credit card in the world being a tokenized asset.
So I can say this on the stable coins. That's going to be huge, man. Like onboarding event, and that's what I was saying. Like even with prediction markets, just the use of stable coins is getting people in the ecosystem. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, they'll be swapping into and sending. But I think money, man. Look, listen, that's what's crazy. I just think how money is about to move in the future is going to be so much different. How fast it settles. You know what I mean? With all these banks and just peer to peer, like it's crazy. I was explaining to one of my friends, like I was referencing Master, like in China, how I could send him ETH or whatever the case may be. In a couple seconds, it settles instantly. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like with banks taking that on, where just with anything like what was we talking about last week? What's the little money transmitter place at Walmart that can send money? Western Union. You know what I mean? You know all the like technicalities there is to moving money, technicalities there is to getting money out of your bank account, technicalities to settlement, just in general, how fast everything and efficient. I'm an efficiency guy, man. I'm going to go and tell you, I love efficiency more than anything. And it's just how efficient the whole financial system upgrade is going to be. You know what I mean? For moving money around, it's got to be better. It's got to be a net positive. You know what I mean? Becoming like it don't seem like it took like baby steps into being quicker. It seems like it's going to go from old, clunky, and outdated to hyper efficient. You know what I mean? It seems like it's going from like that to that, which I mean, I guess there was the Venmos and stuff that made it faster. You know what I mean? Like before, think about before Venmos and Cash Apps and stuff, man. You know what I mean? It was.
I was going to say you hit the nail on the head, because it's already gotten so much more efficient with Venmo and PayPal. I mean, think about this. I'm going to blow this might blow your mind if you're an old man like me. People don't balance checkbooks anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who balances a checkbook? Did you ever balance a checkbook?
No. I see my family like when I was young. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how fast that's evolved. Yeah.
Like it's not a thing. Like people don't understand. Like people would have to sit down at night and literally balance their checkbooks. They would have to like log in accounting format all the money that came in and out of their house.
Mm-hmm.
And no one, I mean, people should be doing that, but yeah, electronic banking takes care of all of it. Takes care of it all.
Yeah. No, are your glasses? Are they the Ray-Ban? Are they the recording?
No.
Okay, I've got some. Yeah, I seen the little things. I was like, this. You know, you want me to tell you one thing? I wonder why Facebook did this. Meta. Let's call it Meta. I had Gen 1 Ray-Bans when I moved to Asia, right?
Yeah.
And I could Facebook Live. It was the coolest feature whenever I would go live on Facebook walking around. I could have my glasses on and people could see, my friends could see what I seen. So anyways, they malfunctioned. So I ended up just buying Gen 2. I bought some new ones a few months back. And do you know on the Gen 2, they removed the feature of being able to go live to live stream? I was like bummed out. So I was like, I'm going to record some I got them because I was like, I need to record some educational content. You know what I mean? And but I thought it would be cool. I could be live too when I did it. But man, I got bamboozled. Listen, it ain't even an option. It said like when I got to researching it, I was like, hey, you can't. But it's still cool. Those glasses are cool, man. How you can catch the moment. You know what I mean on stuff like driving or anything.
Yeah, just can't live stream.
Yeah, but yeah, right. But you know what's crazy? Like even that, I could look at something while I was in Thailand and be like, "What is this?" And it would tell you. You know what I mean? That's crazy. How so? Like I was reading so much literature saying like they predict in the future that get this out your mind that you won't really be using a mobile phone. That everything will be like optic through glasses. You know what I mean? Like
Then
it's
everybody has to wear glasses.
no, yeah, I don't think it will be by any means. But I was reading like just how fast and like you're gonna have an AI agent in your glasses. You're gonna be like, hey, look up reviews for plumbing company in South Florida. You know what I mean? And then call them and then pay. It's like how integrated everything's gonna be. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, everybody's not gonna want to wear glasses.
Yeah, that's the only part that is a little confusing because it's got to be some other wearable because there's going to be a lot of people for fashion or for a lot of reasons. It's like not everybody wants to wear a hat. You're going to say like, oh, everybody in the world has to wear a hat now. I mean, it's crazy. It's like everyone in the world has to carry a phone. So that's crazy. But it's like if I told you like, oh, in the future, everyone in the world is going to be like not forced to carry a camera, but everyone in the future is going to like carry a camera and a phone with them everywhere they go, no matter what.
The evolution of phones alone is crazy. How slow. I remember my dad used to have a Southern Link, like, and I was like, he'll never use a smartphone. He'll never send a GIF. You know what I mean? And here he is, this day and time. It's crazy watching technology. Like, man, remember Nokia Snake, and then where we're at now? It literally went to a computer. You know what I mean? Like, we have got literal computers in our hands.
Supercomputers.
Yeah, 100%. It's only going to get crazier.
We carry supercomputers in our hands that are more powerful than the computers that sent people to the moon.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. The tech. I agree 100%. Yeah, it's curious to see the direction everything goes, man. But I agree with like pieces. It's so many little pieces getting put together, or you're catching wind of like little comets flying by, but it's serious stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what's crazy to me is on any given day, it could be some crazy news. You know what I mean? And it could just fly past you. It's almost like you're desensitized to all the news. You know what I mean? It comes so fast nowadays, but it's a good thing, man. It's a lot better than the when we all first showed up. You know what I mean? When it was nothing, we was like piranhas on some information on an article. Article would drop, and for like 3 months, we would all be cooking on it.
Very cool. I think this whole time the blue space has been on mute.
It's been on mute.
I think so.
Oh no!
All right, but now I might be off mute. hey, we're getting there. We're getting there.
Did you get it set up?
We're learning. I pushed the button.
See, I'm in the red one. Dang, hang on. Am I not even in that space?
Yeah, you're in there, but you're not on stage.
Okay, yeah, no, I do see myself. Flo, I seen that. Did you pin that up?
Yeah,
I seen somebody just bid half an ETH on Flo. I
join,
actually like
join the space too, so you can be on the space with me.
Okay, I just came up.
Oh, now you got to turn
I
down.
gotta turn my volume down. Can you hear me now?
I could hear you. Is it gonna mute? Is it gonna echo the whole time?
Is it echoing now? Is there an echo?
No.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I look forward to this week though. Yeah, but I'll tell you, man, it's crazy. It's super fascinating though. This AI agent stuff with work. You know what I mean? Like seeing it in real world benefits of it is crazy, man.
Real world benefits of AI agents.
Yeah, just seeing it at like perform. You know what I mean? And like adjustments and man, seeing it get better and stronger and smarter is crazy.
You're Remember when the PlayStation 2 came out? There was a commercial on television, and the commercial was by PlayStation, but the commercial was for the PlayStation 10.
I don't remember that.
Remember that?
It was dropped in between the 1 and 2.
It was kind of like dropped around the time of the PlayStation 2 as
Mhm.
sort of like a joke or like a vision.
Mhm.
And it was basically like, I don't know, like an implanted like reality changing device, right? Like the PlayStation 10 is a device that would change your entire reality.
It's like Neuralink.
Kinda, yeah.
Like turn it on and exit this dimension.
If I'm remembering, yeah, there's got to be like a YouTube video of like this PlayStation 10 commercial. It doesn't exist, right? Because we're like, what are we on? Like the
It was
PlayStation.
like Utopia.
So it was super crazy. You know what I mean? We were just on the PlayStation 2, right? It was freaking PlayStation 2, and it was like this crazy commercial about the PlayStation 10, and it was just like unbelievable. Like, wow, the future, you know. And I was thinking about, wow, like imagine ChatGPT 10, right? And I was like, oh, that's stupid. I was like, imagine ChatGPT 100, because right now we're on ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be crazy.
I'm on 5.2. So imagine ChatGPT like 100.
Oh, it's crazy. It's all going to be crazy. Like I was thinking about this. You know, if you use Google's Gemini, if you go to type, so like there was a picture that had it was a cool picture of a car, and so I screenshotted it, right? And I went to Google Gemini and I said, "Hey, replace this car with a Hethel Yellow Emira," and let it go and posted the picture, and within 30 seconds I had exactly what I prompted. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like there still is some stuff that's going to get worked out with AI, but it's crazy at in just the year and a half time. You know what I mean? How fast where you can just text it, hey, do create this, and it's boom, and basically what you want. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy time. What do you believe? I've been seeing Elon post the past like 48 hours. Oh, well, let's call it last week. He's made a lot of comments like referencing the future. You're not gonna have to like. There's gonna be a mass abundance of freedom because like AI agents are going to do everything. Humanoids, let's just say that. And I seen a post that he said something on, and it was a reference, and I went down a rabbit hole with it. But it was a machine model AI hooked up to a Rubik's cube, right? Had like little suctions on all the little blocks, and it completed the Rubik's cube in 0.1 second. Like it happened so fast that it was complete, and then it showed.
I've seen humans do it in 5 seconds.
Yeah, but it was no, but it's just how much like it was an example of like task, how fast they're going to be completed by a humanoid that would take human interventions. You know what I mean? That it's like so much stuff's going to get built and created like exponentially quicker and more efficient. That I'm curious, but all this, Gary, it's a collision of the Swift stuff we've had the conversation on Swift and all these particles from the Web 2 migration to Web 3 space. There's AI, you know what I mean? There's humanoid robots like freaking over here on this side. Like it's wild times, you know what I mean? Like humanoids, we can agree they're on the way. You know what I mean? Within the next 5 years, I would, from all the research, I think it's going to be like pretty common that you'll start seeing them. You know what I mean? And I'm sure they'll be just like you said, the PlayStation 2. Imagine GPJ's humanoid.eth on its 10th update. You know what I mean? And I'm sure that's how it's going to be. It's going to be what they can perform. And I'm getting one. I'm going to go on and tell you, I'm going to get one of these humanoids. And I'm going to train it. It's going to ride my car with me, and it's going to, it's going to go. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm going to get one though. I'm dead serious. I actually look forward to it, but it's wild times, man. You know what I mean? That we're entering into with all this technology moving so fast and already having the, or you said the cell phones, how long it took cell phones to, what has it been? 10 years, 15 years since a cell phone was, could make a call to a supercomputer in your hand. Now the internet, like 4G, 5G, like there's all these infrastructures in place. You know what I mean? For this AI and stuff. So it's crazy, man. I think this stuff's going to advance quick.
You're living in the past, man. You're still living in the past, man. Because you're talking about 4G, 5G. They're putting out 6G phones.
I didn't even know that.
I mean, most of these new towers are all 6G towers. Yeah, man. Like the tech, the research tech is going into 7G. Yeah, so it's just like 5G is the past. 5G is the past.
That's crazy.
The future is AI, crypto, 6G, IoT.
IoT is going to be huge. I think like smart homes, smart everything.
Smart everything. I mean, we talk about okay, you're going to have an digital AI assistant in your phone, right? It's going to be like a super smart human in your phone there to help you. I know people that already have apps like that where it's like an AI friend, and it's a total assistant that can totally help you, right? And then that's going to be connected to the blockchain. And then we have our physical Optimus bots. We have our physical, robots that are also AIs walking around. They're going to have to be connected to the blockchain, right? But what's freaky is thinking about your fridge connected to the internet, connected to the blockchain, your stove, your thermostat, maybe your potentially your toothbrush. Sounds weird, but your toothbrush can be into Wi-Fi, right? Your toothbrush can connect to a smart contract, maybe, right?
I know thermostats 100%.
Why not the toothbrush?
I mean, I guess you could. Yeah. I mean, I ain't trying to connect my toothbrush.
What if
I don't use a toothbrush, Gary? No, I'm just fucking with you.
What if you got a reward? What if you got a reward?
Well, you know what's interesting? All right.
What if the toothpaste company gave you digital credits, call them stable coins, toothpaste stable coins, if you connect your toothbrush to the blockchain? Your toothbrush, just to be clear, is a physical device that has an NFT token on the blockchain that represents it. Right? Your toothbrush is tokenized on the blockchain, just like a piece of art, a physical piece of art. There's an NFT, which is your toothbrush. Whoever owns the physical toothbrush can take control of the toothbrush NFT. And then if you take that toothbrush NFT and your physical toothbrush, and if you connect your account to it, if you can imagine logging into your account, signing with Ethereum, maybe registering that you own that NFT. And now whenever you use your toothbrush, you get 50 cents.
Get rewards.
Right. And now this sounds crazy. Let me know what people think in the comments. But
there's been 11 comments already that it's crazy. You don't see them? You're not getting them? No, I'm just kidding.
But your toothpaste might be free because of the amount of data. You know how people are like farming?
Yeah.
Or contributing, and people get like these rewards. You can brush your teeth, and you think this is ridiculous, but there's a lot of information that can be consumed.
It's data. Data is going to be like gold. You know what I mean?
Especially depending on what kind of sensors you can put in a toothbrush, because you could probably do other things beyond, just usage. If you start detecting like, chemicals or like compounds or molecules in someone's mouth, for example, but, or like anything. And if you're able to detect anything to do with someone's health, and oral health, and then you take that data with your super users and you like credit them a percentage. And then when they go buy toothpaste, like their toothpaste stable coins, like cover the, toothpaste and toothbrushes that they buy. And, some people it'll be like, free because of the amount of the data they're getting. They do this with at least they were, there's a program with like, I think BMW's some years back where you connect your car to the system, the data of you driving, your private data.
There's insurance companies that do that too, that give you rewards. You know what I mean? That little
right, exactly. Well, your car company can do that. The insurance company can do that. And then you're getting these rewards because they're collecting the data. And now technically your insurance, if you're giving your insurance company money with one hand and they're giving you insurance money with the other hand, then you're getting money off your insurance.
Mm-hmm. That's what's interesting. Yatsu, I know you know what I'm talking about because he's an ape. That dude has some super fascinating talks, kind of like what you're talking about, like of democratization of data. You know what I mean? What it all comes down to, and how data. When I first got into,
assuming everybody does it, because if some people don't do it, then basically what you're doing is that you're putting on a cost for privacy.
Yeah, no, I get that. That's just, it was interesting reading some of his early thoughts. I haven't watched any in a while, but I don't know. I'm sure you know him, Linus. I think he goes by True.eth. Have you seen? You should look into it. I try to keep up with his journey. Did you see what he started? He started at Athletic. It's like, I don't know if it's like Fablet or what the name of the app is, but it rewards you in tokens for completing like exercise tasks. You know what I mean? So a similar. It's interesting.
This is what I'm saying, man. Everything you do. What if you have a camera on your smart TV? I think most people modern smart TVs like have cameras in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if you let Netflix watch you while you watch Netflix? And then Netflix pays you.
That's never gonna. They're already probably doing it. We're not getting paid. But if you told, listen, that's what's happening. They're doing it now. We're not getting paid. I would be willing to bet. But man, no, people wouldn't do that. People wouldn't agree to that. I don't think. But even though it's happening, you know what I mean?
What if it's a percentage of people though?
Well, no. I mean, look, that's like do something strange for a little piece of change. Like, hey, you want to let Netflix record you tonight? That's funny, man. That's hilarious. Just
but like if Linus is doing it with your exercise data, and the insurance company is already doing it with your car driving data.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it. Everything, dude. I'm telling you, data is going to become valuable in every stream.
All of this, yes. Right now, it's the reason it hasn't been done yet is because it's so expensive.
Well,
to create, you need people, you need infrastructure, you need servers, you need developers, you need UX UI designers. That might sound sort of lame, but that's a lot of people to create like a database, like tracking, like reward system versus having all of it on the blockchain, like in smart contract format,
mm-hmm.
and then facilitated by AI, communicating with a IoT device,
mm-hmm.
which is another AI connected to the blockchain, connected to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, and then you have people, facilitating, business logic in the back end, with the help of AI.
So hear me out. This is kind of tying this in. I actually spoke with the owners of our automotive group, and I was telling one of them, this is just how my mind, because like when I moved back from Asia, I was like, hey, how can I implement Web3 like ideals, you know what I mean, in business and see how it works. And it's turned out like fabulous. But this is too advanced. Like the AI agent, yeah, probably in the future, like stable coin payments, like integrations. But hear me out. For retention, all right, so that's the industry I've been in for the past decades, automotive, right? So just hear me out on this and tell me this isn't plausible, because I know for 100% if someone does this, it'll kill it. Like, so let's pick a stable coin, let's just say USDC, so that it's not, you're not creating your own, falling into SEC regulations and whatnot. But say you reward your customers when they come in for an oil change, they earn 2 USDC for keeping within our, let's just say, automotive group. If they go to one of the stores within an automotive group, they earn 1 USDC. If they come in to the store where they purchase the vehicle, they earn 2 USDC. Let's just use that for example. You couldn't tell me, and then the customers could then in turn have a wallet where they could cash those stable coins in to pay for oil changes and service and stuff out of the parts department. Like, I could see that being a thing for retention. You know what I mean? Now, yeah, it's costing a business like money from, I guess you could throw it into a marketing expense, but you couldn't tell me that retention. I think that's the most retentive thing you could possibly do at a dealership, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I'm sure you could do it with like normal currency and through mechanisms now, but I always thought that was fascinating. I know it would crush it, like rewarding. You know what I mean? And then having that person having the real world money that they can in turn spend to use for what they want to.
What are they getting rewarded for?
Well, like, all right, let's just from a pure retention standpoint, right? So let's just say you own a business. Let's just call it any business, not automotive. If you're one of my customers, I want to keep you my customer. I don't want you going off to the competition or going off in some other. You know what I'm saying? So how can I keep you as my customer? And I was just saying, like, using the example of a rewards protocol using USDC, so you don't get into SEC rules, and you know what I mean, for creating your own stable coin. But you come in and service your, so say the automotive group is 10 stores, right, in the county you live in. If you go into any store in the automotive group and service your vehicle, you get one USDC, one token. If you come to the store you purchase the vehicle at, you get 3 tokens. And then let's just use that for anything they do, any migration they do through a dealership. And those tokens they can then use to pay for services, to pay for oil change. You see what I'm saying? Just to have, you're giving to them, but it's coming back, but it's keeping the cost, like a loyalty reward. You know what I mean? I'm curious to see, and I can tell you that I've seen a lot of that starting to happen with Visa. You know what I mean? A lot of these like credit card companies and stuff, it's curious. They're going to have to, though. You know what I mean? Like, Gary, I'm going to tell you this. Ave's got that 7% interest or whatever on their mobile app. You know what I mean? For like stable coins, like interest earning. Man, these banks and financial institutions are going to have to get with the program. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's insane. Like, even a CD within a normal financial institution, it can't compete. Nothing can compete. You know what I'm saying? Now there is the risk and the, am I doing and that's what's like Web3 class. You know what I mean? Bringing users in to make sure they feel confident navigating the waters of it. But once you get into this decentralized world, man, there's no competition from centralized returns. In my opinion, I mean, look, Aave just launched that, and their introduction is higher, almost double any CD rate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's interesting to see where it all goes from like a reward standpoint. I think with even, let's tie it back to ENS, the marketplaces, the Vision, the Grails, by that happening is benefiting the end user. You know what I mean? It seems like with the rewards, anything in this space that is advancing is benefiting the users. You know what I mean? So that's kind of cool to see. Yeah, so that's like a brain dump of or like a reward system. I just see a lot of it with people entering in the Web3 space.
A lot of possibility. Yeah, I mean, a lot of different ways to structure it too. You know, like someone coming in to get their car serviced. You know, it's like, what's the price point where they see value in that token? Even if it's like dollars, like some people might not like want to be chasing dollars, or maybe they want to chase cost. Like, but it's all about how you structure things. So, like, if you know, like you incorporate NFTs and POAPs into it, and like, you know, for example, if someone should have their car serviced once a month, imagine a world where you want to tell your customer, you know, you should have your car serviced once a month.
That's crazy to even think of.
Or
30
whatever,
days.
or whatever it is. Maybe is it every 90 days? Like, when you want, how often you want someone to come in? Every 90 days?
No, I mean, no. Once you service your car, like once sales like finalizes a transaction with a customer, then there's like service requirements, like 1 year, 10,000 miles for oil change. For, you know what I'm saying, or first oil change, whatever the
I
case. It
mean,
depends on the brand.
oil change is like what, every 3 months or 6 months?
No, Gary, they're like every year or like 5,000 miles. I think it's like one of the lower
People don't drive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not typically in like a city like that. I guess people that drive a lot, yeah, absolutely. That's why there's like a year or a mileage requirement. You know what I mean? Whichever happens first. So once a year.
Well, I mean, my dealer's like always trying to get me to come in to service my car, because it seems like they want me to come in, and then like know that my car like because then they want to like sell my car. They want to sell me a new car. And they want to sell my car to someone else. You know what I mean? So it's like they sold me a car, and then they want me to be happy for a couple of years, and they want me to like, you know, they want me to stick around, right? So in between when I bought the car, and then a couple of years later when they think I'm going to want to sell that car, they're still trying to hold this relationship with me to service my car, to make sure my car is cool, so that so they can sell me and then flip my car.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they were like, hey, listen, you know, you need to do your brakes every so often, and your oil every so often, your spark plugs every so often, and this and that every so often, you know, like wheels and alignment, you should come in, like basically you should come in like once every 3 months. And then every time you come in, you get a POAP. You know, you get like a digital sticker.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know, and then we look at the number of digital stickers that you have over the past you know, year, and every sticker you have, we take off 10%.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? You can run it.
So if you have your car service with us every 3 months, and then you come again and have your car service, and you have 4 digital stickers, you're getting 40% off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting how you could run that, you know. But I see that being a thing.
Then you're getting them to come in instead of once a year. You're getting them to come in four times a year.
Mm-hmm.
They have their car is super safe.
whatever the term or intervals may be, but yeah, I totally think a decade from now, I would call it within 5 years, that you're going to start seeing that pop up as like rewards protocols. You know what I mean? For like users that are
because it's further tokenization.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think tokenization is going to catch so many people. It's crazy how, or at least like in the area, the southern United States, let's call it. Most people think like crypto is a fad. It came and it did its thing. People made a little bit of money and it's going to go. They don't realize like the infrastructure, like we've been. You know what I mean? Like
every time you buy a Coca-Cola, like in the future, every time you buy like a Coca-Cola, for example, like that can not just go on your credit card, but that can go onto your wallet. Mm-hmm. So imagine like every time you bought a Coca-Cola, like what do you like to buy? Like what brands do you like to buy? Like if you bought like some Coke and some other name brand thing, like whenever you bought that with your credit card, which was like a 0x blockchain wallet,
mm-hmm.
digital currency, it could be set up so that you could sort of instantly receive an NFT.
Yeah, no. So interesting you say that.
Imagine receiving an NFT for every single thing you bought in your groceries.
Yeah, just having like a ledger of all your activities.
And then being able to take, and then imagine over the course of a year, like, you know how theoretically you can pull out your credit card and see, I mean, you could see all the money that you spent at the grocery store, but imagine having your credit card so finely detailed that you could say, this is how much milk I bought.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is how much butter I bought. This is how much Coca-Cola I bought. And that every time you bought the Coca-Cola, not only do you have it recorded, like how much you spent and all that, but you have like an NFT for when you bought it. Right? And now you're at the end of the year and you have all these NFTs. It's like, you have these Coca-Cola NFTs and you have these milk NFTs from whoever sold you the milk and all this stuff. And now all these, like, it's basically like, remember Marlboro Bucks?
Yeah.
This is like now like Marlboro Bucks.
Marlboro points. Yeah. OG.
Yeah. So imagine like every time you bought anything, it's adding points for the thing that you bought. And now at the end of the year, you can take these points and redeem them one way or another, however that sort of that company. And you know what's what stings? Pepsi can come along and Pepsi can say, hey, guess what? We're going to honor your Coca-Cola points at our Pepsi store. Right? And they can get Coca-Cola drinkers to come buy Pepsi merch.
We're converting the Coca-Cola drinkers.
Well, you could, right? Because the Pepsi people could just be like, yeah, just buy the Pepsi merch, buy
But
the
what
Pepsi
if that
product.
reminds me of McDonald's game Monopoly? Like, imagine they could do that. Like, some company could do that for a year. For whatever you did, they could drop you these little pieces, and at the end of the year, they could give away a house or something through tokenization. You know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, seriously, whoever has this specific NFT was the winner, right?
Check this out. Every time you buy a value meal at McDonald's, you get a POAP.
Mhm.
Every POAP counts as one, lottery ticket.
Mhm.
However, you got to legally do it to potentially win like a house.
Yeah, that's crazy. But that's the type of stuff's coming. So, like, anyone that's new that's watching this, like, he says POAP, like, means proof of attendance protocol. It essentially is like a timestamp on the blockchain, and what was it, NFT. I've actually got one of your. I've got a bunch, man. I've actually got a bunch of POAPs from ETH Denver, but you're using those as like a reward entry. So I think, man, all this is coming. But Gary, here's the thing right now, like where we're already at. All right, so back in the day, it was used. All right, so you're going from, look at the transition of money. So from what you said earlier of getting home at night, balancing your checkbook, right? We're up to a point now where the two cards that I use are my CoinZoom or my Coinbase One, where I'm earning, instead of credit card points, I'm earning digital tokens. You know what I mean? When I buy that value meal at McDonald's now and I slide my Coinbase One card, I'm earning pure Bitcoin rewards instead of credit card points. You know what I mean? I think that is going to be slept on, to be honest with you. I think that is, that's been probably one of my biggest pushes of, like, obviously I'm biased with CoinZoom, but with Coinbase also, let's just say Coinbase, for instance, you're spending the money you're already going to spend. Someone that has zero exposure to crypto, you're already spending the money that you're going to have to spend. And we can all agree that credit card points are going down in value because assets are going up in price. So it's a win-win for me to earn Bitcoin when I slide money. You know what I'm saying? I'm already going to have to spend this money to say I earn $100, but if Bitcoin doubles, it turns into 200. You know what I mean, and so on. So it's like accumulation, but that is pretty advanced if you think about it. Going from balancing the checkbook, you know what I mean, to using a card that pays you and a fixed asset or whatever the case may be. Where do we go from here, though? That's going to be interesting. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it's going to be a lot more advanced with like digital and everything. But I'm not going to lie. That's all I'm using. All I use now, any purchase I make in this centralized world, any money I spend, I earn crypto tokens. You see what I'm saying? I'm not, like, I tell you, I'm unplugged. Like, it's the end point of I have to use the USD. You know what I mean? But if anywhere I can earn tokens, whether it be Zoom tokens or pure Bitcoin, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I think that strategy is going to work out. I think 5-10 years from now, they're going to be saying people that were using these type of cards, or, oh, they got lucky. You know what I mean? Because, like, who knows where this is all headed? You know what I mean? And if you're sitting here slowly accumulating money you're already going to have to spend, and it seems like a no-brainer. I could be wrong, but that's my strategy. That's what I'm doing. Anything I do, I'm earning the token. So even on DoorDash, I got DoorDash set up where I could Apple Pay and earn tokens, like after I spend the money. You know what I mean? So I don't.
So what are you doing? You rounding up, or are they giving you a percent?
No, so like depending on how much assets you have, and that's where it gets tricky. I'm not maximizing it because I don't want everything on a centralized exchange. You know what I mean? So I have what I guess you could say split up comfortable with setting on. It's different. CoinZoom's different from Coinbase, but money I'm already going to spend pays me, like, say, 3% back. So say I spend $10 on DoorDash, for instance. When I Apple Pay, I get 3% back in Bitcoin or Zoom token. So it's just, instead of me getting a credit card point, like a Amex point.
But 3%.
Yeah, 3%. Yeah, and it can go up to 4, but that's like, that can rack up quick. You know what I mean? Just like money you're already.
Well, that's all I care about is what is the percent, right? Because like different credit cards just basically give you a different percent cash back. I mean, I know some credit cards give you like points, but I'm used to credit cards that just give you like 2% cash back or 5% cash back. And so if you get like 2% cash back and they give it to you in Bitcoin, or they give you 2% cash back, then you have to buy your own Bitcoin. You know, I like it that they cut out the middleman and they just give you the Bitcoin directly, but they're giving you you're getting like about 3% cash back.
Right.
But you got to have like so much on a centralized exchange.
Yeah, but you can get like 2% or 2.5 for really having nothing. Just signed up for say Coinbase One, which is like $4 a month.
2.5% is great.
Oh no, 100%. But like so, and I won't like you could get into making it complex. Like CoinZoom with the black card, but you have to have X amount of Zoom tokens. With anything, there's a pre-qualifier. Let's call it right. But you could get 5% back by having the black card with CoinZoom and Zoom token, which then you could swap the Zoom token for Bitcoin. You see what I'm saying? So you could like rotate it around or just earn. But it's just the principle. I think that's super fascinating that I can earn tokens instead of credit card points. I don't want credit card points, man, because everything's going up around us. You know what I mean? From year to year, like the flight price ain't going to be like but that's the way I look at the U.S. dollar in general, man. And I know that's crazy to say, but like when I was in Vietnam, it really opened my eyes. We're lucky that we're still the reserve currency in the U.S. dollar, right? Because man, like I don't know the change. All right, let's see right here. Just out of curiosity, USD to dong, Vietnamese dong. All right, so $1. Put this into perspective, Gary. Imagine this. Imagine going to the ATM in Vietnam. All right, so this was on. You know Kimmy? Remember Kimmy from China that had GoDaddy?
Yeah.
All right, so listen, I went and met him, and we was going to the Solana conferences actually, and it was some other ones in Vietnam. So imagine getting it was a whole fiasco, dude. It was on the whim. It was like probably the most whim stuff I've ever did. Well, anyways, I get to Vietnam, don't know anything about the currency or anything, so I go and like try to get $20 out of the ATM. It spit out so much money to me. And like when I tell you, all right, but then now the conversion is Vietnamese dong. $1 equals 26,312. So just imagine trying to get like 100 out. Bro, when it spit this money out, dude, I was like, oh my God. So then I had to, but just like, man, that's the same thing that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the same thing that people don't understand when we keep printing this money that they're going to have to print.
It won't happen because there's not enough money in the ATM.
Oh, I know, no, but their denominations are much larger. You know what I mean? Like, so it ain't like ours, but it was still like such a crazy amount of money. When I looked at it in my hand, I was like, Jesus. So I actually brought some home. It was super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's also assuming that they don't reset the currency.
Yeah, right, 100%.
Because a lot of people like there's a lot of ways. There's a lot of for normal countries they just have to have really large denominations, but like America has a few ways where it can just completely reset the currency, which is fun to talk about.
Yeah, I actually been keeping. You see, Russia's been hot on that, talking about U.S. is going to use stable coins to reset the debt. I've seen actually. I think there was a new article that was released like yesterday or the day before on that. That I remember they initially said something. One of their political figures.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we went onto the gold standard, we reset the debt, and when we went off the gold standard, we reset the debt, and and at some point, something else will happen, and there'll be a reset of the debt, and we'll see how that goes. But appreciating assets will probably continue appreciating.
I think so too. Yeah, it's just interesting watching everything go up. You know what I mean? The gold and silver's been on a tear, man. I tell you, since I moved back, man, I've just been locked in. I've been locked in with trying to stay on top and maintain my ENS portfolios and just trying to, I call it mining fiat, trying to mine as much fiat as I can to DCA into fixed assets. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to pay off, especially in the long term. I think we're setting up 2026. I think 2026 is going to be a very good year. I think economically. That's just I could be wrong, but that's one of my predictions. If I was on the prediction market, Gary, I I'll be full send to 2026 being a good year economically. I think so.
Yeah. You see that old? You guys see that old timey chart? When to buy, when to sell, when to hold,
What is it now?
when to buy, when to sell, when to hold.
Talking about the chart?
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it in the past. Yeah.
yeah. 2026 supposed to be like the best year, and then 2027 it all goes to shit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to monitor 2026. No, I think it's going to be, man. Yeah, I'm manifesting it. And it's crazy just using, it seems like, like we was busy this past week. I was super busy. It's good to see things picking up. It's crazy geopolitics. There's still stuff going in every direction. You know what I mean? Man, there's so much stuff, like major headlines that are just like, it's like constant.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of headlines and there's a lot of constant things happening, but it's all like a slow buildup, right? It's like people, it seems like the majority of people think we're at the end of the market, but for me, it feels like there's this slow buildup. Like, I don't want to say nothing has really happened yet, but it feels like there's been this slow buildup where there's still more to come, you know? And there's been so much building and there's been so much sort of steady accumulation that the big money, the smart money that's been buying into the steady accumulation, money like that can't um, sell unless there's, like these, like a lot more liquidity and a lot more people buying in. And so there's just been so much buying and slow buying and slow building that it feels like it's just a lot of kinetic energy building up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, it's funny you're saying this. I just got a notification. Gold hits a new all-time high of 43.83. Like I got a Cointelegraph notification. Yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of stuff is coming together, and even I wasn't even talking about that, but all this news, these little slivers we was talking about earlier in the show, I feel like all this is heading up into 2026. You know what I mean? I think 2026 is going to be I think first and second quarter of 26 is going to be a lot of positive bullish news released on the economy, on blockchain, on system, on everything. Man, it's good, man, to at least have some optimism. You know what I mean? Because these past few years, dude, have been so negative, just like media, just everything, so it's good. I'm like a hopeless optimist too. You know what I mean? So it's good from just my point of view, my perspective. I'm glad that everything seems to be headed on a positive note for me and for those around me. So, yep.
Even if it's not a positive note, there's no like real negative notes, right?
Right.
It's like people complain there's not marketing and people complain that, like certain projects aren't being hyped, which, sometimes is actually horrible because we need, like more cohesiveness for a healthy ecosystem. But, uh, builders are building and the technology is working and developers are developing, right? Enterprises are adopting, new users are onboarding, accumulation is happening, and it's just no negative news. It's just like I was saying, a lot of boring news, a lot of news that isn't necessarily sexy.
Mm-hmm.
It's all like a slow accumulation where it just for me it feels like there's so much more to come. It feels like we are at the beginning because all of this like you got to understand with the big money with the whales, they've been slow buying in, and you can't just slow buy in and then sell. You know what I mean? It's like there needs to be huge amounts of liquidity for the selling to happen for large cells to sell, and you need large liquidity to sell large volumes.
Mm-hmm. The yeah, no, yeah, I agree with that. It's interesting. I was having a conversation the other day with one of my friends about how it seems like everything's going down, everything's getting crushed, and it's just going to be like BTC and ETH. You know what I mean? It seems like every time there's a market correction, it just seems like altcoins just get utterly destroyed more and more. But yeah, no, it's you nailed that on the head. I know what I was thinking about. You was talking about builders are building, devs deving. It's especially in the ENS, or let's just say Ethereum ecosystem. Man, there's some hustlers. Hustlers are just out here hustling. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's building in different directions. Like, yeah, there may be arguing and inner fighting and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like everybody's hustling in different directions. So that's good to see. I've always said that, man. In like the Maxi community, when it was more of a thing, it seemed like we have like an ENS, some of the brightest minds in the globe. You know what I mean? Because it's like I look at it, and this is one of my things. Like dealing with these technologies is global, and it ain't just like a local at like a community level. You're dealing with some of the brightest minds in the world. You know what I mean? And that's what made me so bullish, is seeing people in this ecosystem building. You know what I mean? It's just like, well, I'm not good at coding. Yeah, I can use AI and vibe code, you know what I mean, by prompting, but I can't code. But to see people that can code and just build in different directions, it's crazy to see the talent, man. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talent in these blockchain ecosystems. And I'm sure it's not just ETH, I'm sure it's all of them. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of really smart people. I'm just a talker. I'm not like, I can't vibe code, you know what I mean? Like some of these guys, but it's interesting to see it at the rate, like Vision, for instance, from when Vision launched V1 to where they scaled up to how quickly, you know what I mean? I had never in my life seen aggregation at that level. Like I never see how you could dissect just names, you know what I mean? The level that you could dissect a name and find a category and a subcategory. It was crazy. It was honestly crazy from seeing DNS with GoDaddy and tools like that. You know what I mean? To go from a tool like GoDaddy to a tool like Vision, and it was like day and night, man. It's crazy, some of the talent.
It's really true. More categories is better. And Vision was, I mean, there's definitely room for improvement, but for the most part, it was great just to find names and use it to find names and categories. It needs like a none option. I'm really big on, always having a none option, but having a lot of good categories and having them comprehensive and having them sortable by so many different options and fields. Yeah, it was a real loss when we lost Vision, but Grails is doing great and they're developing at lightning fast speed. And I really appreciate how it's 100% open source. Vision on the horizon. Can't wait to see that. And yeah, just having more marketplaces is going to be a good thing for ENS and for Web3, especially as, obviously as things develop.
Grails is actually moving fast too with like building and correcting bugs. I see Brantley, like I can respect that being like out in the trenches when somebody reports a bug, like on it. You know what I mean? But I seen they changed their homepage. They changed their homepage to show like multiple different categories and whatnot. Just the layout. So that's cool to see, man. People building in every direction. Yeah, I'm bullish. I'm telling you, 2026 is gonna be bullish. I think for all of us.
Yeah, like we're both saying, there's been so much building happening, for the past several years. Right. ENS working on ENS V2 name change since 2025. All, 2024. So partially 2024, if not all of 2024, all of 2025 into 2026, maybe launching 2026, and then 2026 being this really big year.
Yeah, I think, hopefully, man. I hope. I'm sure we'll get some kind of. I'm predicting that we're going to get some kind of news on or updates on name chaining like Q1 of 26. I think something. It's got to be something, Gary.
Remains. I mean, obviously, we're going to get something. They've been giving us good
Breadcrumbs.
They've been giving us good breadcrumbs, and there's only so much that they know that they can be certain of. Technologically with their research, it's probably 2 pounds of research and um, 10 ounces of execution.
But let's think about this. So some of this stuff seems like it's coded. All right. So, and now this is just me. This is the hopeless
What's
optimism.
good for ENS is good for Ethereum, and what's good for Ethereum is good for ENS, and
Yeah, no, I
you can see
agree.
the same thing, for all the L2s out there.
But so it seems like this stuff's code. All right. So, for instance, Namechain. When Namechain launches, it's like institutional grade subdomain management, right? Essentially. All right. At the same time that Linea or that Swift is building you see what I'm saying? Like Namechain, man, what if Namechain is used by some of these huge corporations? Would that not be crazy, dude?
JP Morgan and Connexus is already teaching people about ENS names.
Yeah, I know, man, but that's a crazy possibility.
JP Morgan Chase is partnered with Swift. Swift is working on Ethereum. Swift is partnered with Connexus and Linea. Linea and Connexus use ENS. I mean, it's all bullish. It's all
Hmm.
bullish.
That's that. Yeah, that's where I've got to be careful because I'll get in that bullish. I'll get in that bullish freaking wheel.
Well, I mean, it's sort of like it's a 100% sure thing, except unless it's not.
It's not. Yeah. It's
Unless,
like
unless it's not.
one of my friends used to say something to me like when he would do something. He was a very smart guy, but he would always say,
Like
"My
there's
stuff."
a yeah, go on.
He would be like, "My stuff always works sometimes," and that's what I feel like we're at that moment. Yeah.
Right. Like there's like a 90% chance that there's a 100% chance that happens.
Hmm. That's funny, man. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm super bullish, man, on the future, and yeah, I gotta contain myself. I seen some names. I won't say them on here, but man, there's still some heat going through premium, and I've got to contain myself. Like I need to just turn it off because I'll see something. And,
At some point, yeah.
yeah, no, man, I've got too many. I don't know. I just I'm that names, man, names, first names, last names. That's for me. That is what I think.
Yeah, you know what
Locations.
you like. Yeah, you know what you like. You collect. Yeah, leave those locations alone.
Yeah, I had to throw them in for you. That's funny. So I'll be over there on the 1,000 name section, but yeah, I've been super. But that's I'm glad Grails. There's a lot of characters.
Grails have that category up yet.
Yeah, listen. Grails
You gotta ask them to get that category up.
Grails has when Grails launched, Grails categories were my biggest holdings. Well, four names, surnames, and then 999 Club and Pokemon. I think's what it initially was with pre-punks. Those are all like I grabbed a Pokemon. I only have like a couple of Pokemon, but man, the Pokemon crew is listen. They holding it together. I remember going to one of their spaces like, oh, I got to get one of these, man, with these guys. But Pokemon makes total sense with me. But
Are there any available?
yeah, I'm sure. I don't know about available, but I haven't.
For like not registered.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a 3 or 4 character. You know how that is. That'll be a good 3 word. There's a good 3 word. It's just sitting over there like it looks like a lava rock and it's hot. You know what I mean? Like go and pick me up if you want to, but it's gonna burn you. The registrations, man. God, that's the only thing. But to say with you, when you said the model, that was my exact thoughts. Like it made total sense. It didn't really even need explaining to me when it was like, hey, if I own Gary.crypto and I pass away, Gary.crypto passes away with me. It'll never be back in circulation. For longevity, that could never work. So I never had a complaint. It made
There's
total
only so many good words in the dictionary.
Exactly. Yeah, and it made total sense. Now, I mean, it's up for debate but I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, I'm a collector. You know what I mean? It's so if it was just
You're
one,
an addict.
yeah, I am. Hey, I own addiction. But so I will say this: if I just had one and I was only maintaining one, I don't know that I would complain so much as to having many. You know what I mean? So I do have bias, but if they were cheaper, it would be great because it's oh man, I always see them coming in my.
More expensive. They were talking about making 5 characters more expensive and the 3 and 4 characters less expensive.
Well, I just hope I'm able to obtain a lot of 3 and 4 character before that decision's made, and maybe I get grandfathered in. No,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there would be a rush to buy 3 character names if people found out the price was decreasing.
Yeah, but how much? I mean, 650 to 450 still stings. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, if it was, yeah, I mean, if it was 640 to 340,
Yeah, and maybe four character was
and
half
yeah,
75 or something.
yeah, I mean, like let's just say they half the cost. I forget exactly what the proposal was, but let's just say they half the cost. You know, I mean, you could buy twice as many at the same price.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would be fair. I wouldn't be complaining of raising the cost to like 750 on five character. You know what I mean? It is what it
See,
is.
I heard 15.
Oh, I don't know. I may give a little resistance there. I'll vote with my. I'm going to vote with my ENS tokens that got taken by malware. That was brutal. Yeah, it was my ENS tokens got cooked in that malware grab. That was brutal.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, no, it is. I'm cool. I bounced back from it. At least knowing everything's done on the blockchain made it simpler. You know what I mean? It wasn't no. I need to call Wells Fargo and see what they can do about this. It was like, oh, here we are. So yeah, no, that's. But yeah, that was brutal. But yeah, I'm bullish. I'm fixing to have to hop up off here. Looks like we've been going for around 2 hours. Are we gonna be? Do you want to hop on Wednesday? Will you be free?
Hard to say. Hard to say.
Me
TBD.
too. That's me
TBD.
too.
Yeah, TBD.
I
TBD.
forgot New Year's, Christmas Eve. Uh, so I'm sure I'll get up with you tomorrow or Tuesday, and
Yeah, we'll chat about it. We'll chat
yeah,
about it.
hundred
And
percent.
figured out, this has been fun, like, playing with the tech and figuring this out. And yeah, it'd be great, as with as bullish as we, doesn't really matter if it's bullish or bearish, because we're both going to be here, learning and researching and playing with the tech. But
Hmm.
going into 2026, it'd be great to, just, yeah, figure out what sort of consistent schedule we can have, and how often we can do shows, and how we can continue helping people. For anyone that's stuck around, and for anyone who's listening, I'm super excited what is happening at Web3 class. So if you're into crypto, or if you know someone that's getting into crypto, have them check out the courses and the community that's being built at web3class.com. And yeah, just making it super easy and super simple for new people to get onboarded into crypto, into Web3, for them to learn how to do Web3 the right way, right?
Up to speed.
Yeah, so they know not to download random .exe files.
Yeah, don't import ENS avatars into random Google PDF converters. Yeah, I could
Well,
teach.
it was a converter that you downloaded, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I went
Wasn't
to.
it wasn't an online converter that you used?
Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, it was an online converter.
It
Listen,
was.
yes, it was an online, and I searched free PDF converter.
Okay, so how did it work? So you put.
So I can. So here was my thought process. I was at the coffee shop. It was fast. I was building with Bolt. I was actually using Bolt to build a website for Block Ventures. So I was like, I'll put some of my ENS avatars on there. So I logged on to Google and just typed in. This is where it got you, and this is what will be taught in Web3 class: is how don't operate quickly through something, because I mean, it was 100% on me. You know what I mean? But I essentially typed in free PDF converter. Obviously, I didn't go to the first one or second or whatever that was sponsored. I went to the top non-sponsored, thinking maybe, hey, SEO. You know what I mean? It's a good one. I didn't know that that was an actual tactic. Once this after, I was talking to Dylan Satoshi, and he was telling me like, hey, it's a common thing, and I started looking into it, and it's they're making.
Wait, you clicked on a link. You're on the website.
Yeah, I went to it was like I Heart PDF or something.
Whatever. You clicked
All
on the
right, so
link.
yeah, I went in there and I was like,
All right,
look,
you're on a
bam,
landing
bam, thank you, ma'am. And so
SEO landing page.
yeah, I uploaded the image, converted it, and when I downloaded the file had malware. So when I downloaded it to my MacBook, it freaking got in. You know what I mean? And boom. And I guess the script, I kind of had to get brought up to speed on this. The script didn't touch. I had like 400. I don't know if this is a good.
Was it an image file?
It was an image file. Yes,
It was an image file.
yes. It was a It was a PDF image file. I just essentially screenshot a picture of one of my avatars off of Vision, and I went to go upload it into that PDF converter. And when I converted it to the PDF and when I downloaded that file, is what unleashed it into my system. And the funny part, the irony of this is it was all altcoins. It was like some of the tokens. It was like Jasmine, ENS. It was just some like other dust tokens I had. It was actually a substantial amount of money that I had in with my ENS, some of my ENS names. So I went through about my day. I didn't know none of this at the time, right? So it was like lunch. I did this. I came home, was doing something. It was like 7 o'clock. I hopped down and I was looking at my ledger software, and like my balance had went down on one of my accounts like dramatically. And I was like, oh, it must be a glitch, Man, bro, when I tell you I seen it, I was like, so I immediately panicked, and I was like, I didn't know what level I was compromised. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know what accounts, what it could have been. Like I was telling you, everything's set up like Fort Knox now, but it didn't touch any of my ENS domains. It didn't touch any. It like came in, swooped every token out. So I was able to get every ENS, and I had some of my like really good names in that same wallet. So I'm just grateful I was able to get those out, and it wasn't, that taught me a valuable lesson. Even when you think you're advanced, you know what I mean? Like you can make one wrong move and it can wreck you. So that was a lesson, and I'm sure we can teach people in Web3 class, you know what I mean? Similar, so it doesn't happen to anyone else, because I set all my devices up now, man. Where
see if you could find like a YouTube video or something about that.
Of how it happens?
Yeah, like an example of downloading an image with a script.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'll find something and send it to you and put it on the page to help someone, you know what I mean? Because that's something you would never guess that, right?
I wouldn't.
But I was researching like malware and stuff. I thought you had to download something, right? Which I downloaded a file, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's some that's called drive-by malware. Just if you visit that site, the malware infects you. You see what I'm saying? Like that's so freaking dangerous, dude, that you can just type in one typo, think you're going somewhere, and go completely different to a malicious site that, you know what I'm saying, installs a script.
Which is why you should never scan QR codes.
Yeah, true. 100%. But yeah, so that was my experience with that.
Yeah. Well,
it is what it is. I passed it. I recovered, but I learned a lot. I wish it would have been.
There's other people that need to learn the same lesson without going through the experience.
Yeah, that's we got experience points.
That's what's happening at web3class.com. So, if you could find like an article or something, maybe AI can help us.
Yeah, I'll send you something tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. Well, cool, man. It was cool hanging out with you tonight. We'll do this again sometime soon. If this isn't if this is the last time I see you this year, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you too and your family.
Happy New
Year.
I
will catch you. I'll catch you early this week. I'll reach out probably sometime tomorrow. Okay.